Hi, I'm Phil Morse for Digital DJ Tips with the Pioneer XDJ-1000. This is the brand new Pioneer multiplayer that doesn't play CDs. Look, no slot down here in the front. Instead, it's fully digital, fully record box enabled, record box being Pioneer's DJ software, but you play from this beautiful big screen here, which has got a load of the functions and features of digital DJing on it, but no need to take your laptop into the DJ booth with you if you don't want to. So let's take a closer look at some of the features and functions of this player in our Pioneer setup we have in the studio for you here today. So anyone familiar with the XDJ-1000 will immediately see that there's a lot of similarities here. It's quite a lightweight unit, and it's got exactly the same jog wheel here with no lighting around it like you find on the more expensive Pioneer players. And the layout really is very similar. So there's the long pitch throw, there's the master tempo, tempo adjust, the vinyl and CDJ style jog mode adjust, the vinyl speed adjust, which again, like the XDJ-1000, is for both the startup and the slowdown time, which I think is a mistake. I think it should only be for the slowdown time. So in other words, you can have this set for a slow down when you press pause, but when you press play, it comes on immediately. That should be a firmware change, I think. That would be something that would be quite easy to do in software. So down this side, again, very similar to the XDJ-1000, the play, pause and the cue, track search and search, the reverse button, which with the new slip mode on this means that you can also do a kind of sensor feature. And then the usual manual in and out for looping. What it hasn't got in comparison to the XDJ is the four little loop buttons down here and various other functions from here which are now on this big screen. But apart from that, and the fact that the screen is now much larger and raised up, is very similar to the XDJ-1000, which also includes round the back having very similar connections there with just the RCA out, and there's a link there for linking to another player, which is the Ethernet cable, which allows you to use one USB across two players, which is a very useful feature. And there's a USB for a computer in the back there as well, which lets you use it as a MIDI controller, although frankly, if you're buying a player like this, you're probably not going to want to do that. Okay, so let's have a closer look at what's on the screen, because of course this is where record box happens. So on loading and pressing the USB button here, this USB drive has got a record box collection on it that's been prepared on a computer. Then you're faced with a browser screen where you can browse by artist, album, track, key, it's very useful, playlist that you've pre-prepared, your history, and there's a really useful search function here that lets you type using a QWERTY keyboard to find your tracks. So that's all good. This keyboard especially is a really good change because it just makes it so much easier to find tracks than any other method. So having found a track that you want to play, let's just grab something, anything from here. That will do. The track will start to play, and you have a lovely big waveform at the top here, which can be zoomed in and out. So this is very similar to digital DJing, as software DJs know it, and you have a full waveform at the bottom here, which shows you the whole track. Again, very similar to stuff that software DJs are very familiar with. By clicking info at the top here, you can find out more about the track. There's its artwork and so on. And this is all something that, as I say, software DJs will be very familiar with, but people using CDJs, especially coming from old style CDJs, are going to be blown away by this. You've got your sync button here for syncing via the Ethernet cable at the back with another one of these, and there's also quantize, because this has got, I'll show you in a second, a really nice feature which if we hit perform at the top, which is where so much of the stuff happens, you'll see. So now we've got hot cues. Yep, hot cues have arrived on a mid-range Pioneer player, which you can record and recall. And the nice thing is that when you plug your USB back into your laptop, all the information from here will be put back. All the stuff that you decided while performing will be put back. There's a beat jump function, and the looping's here as well. So you've got your quantized looping here, half a beat, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, and so on. There's even a slip mode here, which is a really nice addition, because that means that you can use the reverse button as a sensor button with slip mode on, along with other things, scratching and so on. So that's a kind of an overview of what's going on the screen here. Let me show you some of the other areas of the screen though. Let's get out of the perform mode there, because as well as USB, there is a link mode. This is where you can link it with another player. So if this USB stick was plugged into the other player that I have over there, link mode would just tie in the same library here, so I could use the library across 2 or more players. And then the record box mode is for when you have a record box enabled computer plugged in directly to here via Ethernet, although you would need an Ethernet hub to plug two of these together along with a laptop, because there's only one socket on the back of these. But that means that you don't even have to put your music onto USB. You can just play your record box enabled music by browsing it and loading it using the controls here, but having your laptop plugged in directly. So is it for you? Should you go and invest in a pair of these right away? Well, if you've already got a CD set up at home, you've maybe got some older Pioneer CDJs or non-Pioneer CDJs, and you've always DJed in this way, but you want to upgrade to digital. You want to get rid of all those CDs. You want to rip them all onto software and just use everything without having to take CDs with you anymore. In other words, you want to kind of come up to date with us digital guys. Well, I'd say this is an awesome replacement for your existing players. It's bringing you so much of the fun of digital DJing, but you're not used to having a laptop with you. You don't want a laptop with you when you're DJing, and you're going to love it. I promise you're going to love it. It's fantastic what they've done here. If you are an existing digital DJ and you want to get involved with Rekordbox with using Pioneer's route, again, they're a good choice. Or if you're new to digital DJing, but you've already decided that no, you want to go down a route which gets you into the DJ booth really easily without a new learning curve when you get there, then following this Rekordbox route is arguably a good way to go. And again, there'd be a good investment, although in both of those cases, a new digital DJ or someone switching to Rekordbox who already understands digital, maybe you use Serato or Traktor or whatever, I would actually recommend taking a close look at the XDJ-1000, which is Pioneer's new controller, new all-in-one controller, which instead of having a screen on each unit has got just a big screen in the middle. It's a lot cheaper than this, and you can still use Rekordbox in a very similar way, and the learning curve from there into club DJ booths again is not very far. So you might find that that's a better choice for you, certainly as far as your wallet goes, than having to invest in a pair of these, especially if you're also buying a mixer to get the effects and so on that you're used to from your digital systems, or that you want from a digital system. And finally, if you're a venue owner, well, they're not going to replace a XDJ-1000 Nexus setup. These are not pro players. They are kind of the mid-range ones. They're more like replacements for the XDJ-850s. Having said that, if you've got a smaller venue, if you don't want to spend the full outlay on a full pro Pioneer setup, and your DJs aren't interested in CDs but they want to play in this way, they're a good investment. I'd go for it. You know, small bars, clubs, lounges, places where your resident is happy to use this kind of thing. It's certainly a lot cheaper than going for one of those full pro Pioneer setups. So I hope you've enjoyed this quick overview. There is a full review that goes into more depth over on digitaldjtips.com. And if you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel to get informed of all our other videos first. And of course, we've got full free membership for free training, free updates, news, and all the rest of it over on digitaldjtips.com. The link to join us is below the video if you're on YouTube, and just click join now at the bottom of the page if you're watching this on Digital DJ Tips. Thanks for your time, and I'll see you in our next video.